What does everybody think about Chick-fil-A? Woo! This was feedback from the employee council to kind of switch it up. First of all, to get off Mondays, because we've had our all employee meetings on a few Mondays and have not gotten the kind of smiles that we do on Fridays. So happy Friday, and we brought the weather out for the all employee meeting as well. It's January, and it's t-shirt weather almost. Of course, with Randy, every day is t-shirt and shorts, right? We will kick it off with the family fun as per usual. You get me at the beginning, by the way. Jason is starting the day at Nissan, and then he will be here to finish up the meeting with his kind of State of the Union on where we're at. But obviously, family fun is something that we do here to support our team members, and completely optional, and we just kind of pass the hat or have the scan code if you so choose to create a fund in the case that we want to help somebody out. So that is the family fund here at Willis. We will then kick right into our VTO. So this week actually, the ELT did our annual offsite ELT traction meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday, and spent some time where we, on our annual, go through the vision side of the VTO and not just the traction side, which is what we typically spend on our rest of our quarterlies the rest of the year. But a couple of things on the vision side that we switched up. Really, this, if you can't imagine, this was we had met our 10-year time frame for our core target. So this was a chance for us to recast out our 10-year plan. And the one thing that meant a lot to us to incorporate is more discussion about employee engagement, employee satisfaction here at Willis. And so the 10-year, incorporated into the 10-year target is to be a place for all team members to live their best lives, which means a lot to the ELT. There's a lot in that statement if you unpack it a little bit, but we obviously feel very important that this place is a place where people want to work. Additionally, we adjusted the volume target for new vehicles to 10,000 in the year 2035. There's a lot being discussed in regards to, is that just a new car number or variable number? We know that it all starts when we sell a new car. That's an opportunity to then incorporate a customer for life that then feeds into the fixed operation side of the business. We did change down here in the marketing strategy. We put in an infographic, and on the proven process, that visual aid will help kind of bring home that proven process. Over to the 3-year picture. A few adjustments there. In 3 years, we're shooting for 8250 for cars, vehicles sold. And then a lot of discussion on traction, one-on-ones, 100% traction meetings, continued growth, additional profit centers. We're always looking for additional things to grow here at Willis. And Jason will talk about that a little bit more as regards to 2024 and what we've kind of looked at. Community involvement, something that's still obviously very, very huge here at Willis. We believe that being a good steward in this community of Des Moines will ultimately bring customers here. They want to work with somebody who is helping support the community. Nissan construction complete. We've talked about this actually a little bit now. When we bought the Nissan franchise, we had signed on to do some improvements there. That's definitely taking longer. Nissan is definitely not pushing us to do that, and so we still need to improve those facilities, and we want to kind of get going on that here soon. And then our overall facilities are aging, and so we want to create a plan for what we kind of call our next 50-year facilities. We've actually been in this site for over 30 years now, and it's definitely has its positives and negatives, and so we need to continue to look at what's next. As we switch over to the next side, we have our 1-year plan and then our quarterly rocks. And just quickly, the 1-year plan Current budget is 7,833 cars this year to be sold. Obviously, CSI, very, very important to us. We want to be greater than national averages. And then we want to work on our company website, launch, potentially update that website. We have the onboarding experience. That's, again, something important. We continue to work on our new hire orientations, but the overall experience when employees start here is very, very important. Data hygiene. So our softwares here, we have not always the most perfect customer information. So we want to work on getting emails, addresses, phone numbers all updated, duplicates out of the system. We have vendors that we think that can help us through that process. We can't do it ourselves, and so we want to start a process of cleaning up our data. Achieve days out on service scheduling of less than 5 days, greater than or less than 5, or less than or equal to 5 days. So it's very, very important from a CSI standpoint that customers, if they want to have their car worked on, that they can get it into our shops within a reasonable amount of time. And currently in some places, we have some unreasonable times. And so we want to work harder to get scheduling for customers when they want their car to be fixed. And then the start on that Nissan construction is going to be working with finding a contractor and an architect. As you can see from the quarterly rocks standpoint, we've got a lot of them. And we typically don't want that many rocks, but we do feel like some of these all of these are achievable. But just kind of quickly hitting them. Fill and backfill all management seats. Jason's one recent seat starting at Nissan is the introduction of Chris Ruggery as the new GM at Nissan. Jason will talk about that a little bit more, but that sort of internal promotion creates backfills, and then obviously there's training that needs to be done when people move positions, and so we want to kind of make sure that it's all complete and everybody are operating in their new roles. Ongoing advisor hospitality training, so making sure that our advisors who are greeting guests understand how those guests want to be received here at Willis. Ryan Carlstead is in charge of that. One thing that's we've been wanting to get done last year, kind of is moving into this year, but traction training for our managers. This is the first quarter of the year, and obviously the ELT just had their off-site traction meeting. Now all of our managers will start having their department traction meetings. We have some variability amongst our managers of how those traction meetings go about, and so we have hired Jim Muscard to help create some consistency in those traction meetings. Identify and develop a new Willis Automotive website that kind of goes to the one-year plan. Engage an architect on the Nissan project, again, that goes through the one-year plan. Present a draft of the employee onboarding experience. Liz and her team are working on that. And then service and parts, AutoPoint, we are making a switch there from Dealer FX and want to get that up and operational. And then Authenticom is one of those vendors that we're working on the data hygiene. That is the VTO. I went through that quite fast, and there is a lot there. This is always the time of year where there is a lot of changes, but we want to cascade this information down to you, so we always say that everybody's kind of rowing in the same direction. You need to know what we're working on to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what's important. Admin remarks, good picture. There's Don Crowder. So just kind of make sure that we, fixed and variable. Oftentimes we go through all the wins for the year. This is always an important time for that, but just an opportunity to kind of hit on some of what I call our more admin departments. This kind of falls in sales and service, but accessory, both sales and an install team. Sales had over $2 million in gross sold. Bill and his team, the technology and delivery specialist, big changes in that group, removing the pre-owned, the non-CPO deliveries, and then the breeding ground, I would say, of development teams throughout your staff it's been fun to see people come in as tech specialists and then move on into sales. Titling team, every car that's sold needs to have, and then moved from one place to another, needs to have that title registration updated and then get those customers their plates. The accounting team, every check that's cut, every check that's received, our payments, those things are, overall we want to have more checks come in than go out. But deals posted, and then all deals received here, getting that work through, the financial statements out to the manufacturers, all very, very important. Administrators, they are the admins, the front desk admins. They are the first face that the guests see when they come in the door. They're answering our phone calls, making sure that they're greeting those guests with a smile is very, very important. It kind of sets the stage for a great customer experience. Part-time receptionists, they come in over lunches, on the weekends. Oftentimes, many of us who are here Monday through Friday never meet these people. They've been employees. In some cases, we have a lot of tenure on our part-time receptionists. But they come in over the weekends. They help with scanning of ROs, those type of things, and just fill a need, again, to be that face of the organization when those guests come through the doors. Local drivers are, used to be called ambassadors. Again, kind of the face of our organization when they go out and pick up a guest and they have a 10 to 15-minute car ride back. Those guests, sometimes they're busy and they're not talking to them. Sometimes they're having long conversations with our ambassadors. And there's an opportunity for them to tell our guests how great Willis is. And just a big thank you to those mainly gentlemen who are having those conversations and talking about Willis to our guests, and getting our guest cars to and from safely and securely. A lot of attendants, again, a day like this, they're very, very busy keeping our cars clean, prepping cars for delivery, those type of things, moving cars around constantly, whether it be from Waukee or main campus, moving from Silver Road to the back. Our lot attendants constantly kind of picking up all the slack. And then human resources, 388 interviews and 125 individuals onboarded this year. Big numbers. And we can't do anything if we don't have the people. People are obviously very, very important. And so making sure that we continue to have staff coming here and working is a big thank you to you and your team. Marketing department, over 1 million users to our websites and over 200,000 photos taken in a year of 2024. Big thank you to that group as well. And then last but not least, our favorite shuttle drivers. I don't know how many it is, but we wanted to kind of count up the circles that they do over a course of the year, and it's a big number. So that's all I have. Too much time on the mic, but who is up next? Fixed or variable? Fixed. Charlie Phillips.
Whoa.
Yeah, come on.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
We had an amazing fixed year last year. You know how Ryan is, how thorough he is. He got me a novel up here. So if we can avoid the round of applause until the end, that'd be great. But I'll go through some of this. Service departments, you all know, crushed your budgets last year, so good job. We did 77,731 ROs on 36,326 unique VIN numbers. Over 6,000 cars to the main campus express department, over 12,000 warranty claims, customer pay growth on 8 out of our 9 brands, with the Hickman 3 and Lexus leading the charge. Top 5 service advisors for parts and labor gross profit were Dylan Schurman, Michael Yock, Jeremiah Snyder, Isaac McGuffin, and Arvin Six. We had over 32,000 cars through our main campus service departments, most all car washes, thank you. That's over 120 cars through the car wash per day. That's booking for one stall, so that's great. Jason Henry pushed almost 3,000 cars through our main campus reconditioning department. Over 1,800 insurance claims in our 2 collision centers. Collision had Connor Janning and Brendan Riley, both with $1 million parts and labor gross profit. Jeff Laporta, Chris Prott, David Kennedy, Dave Kinney, Doug Trammell, Brian Lance, Matt Rigg, David Thornburg, Wes Steinhook, Ed Shoemaker, Joe Moore, Chuck Broomfield, Kevin Shafter, all over 1 million parts sales. And Colby Piper started a new club in parts. He was over $2 million of part sales. So good job, Colby, and the rest. We installed over 132,000 square feet of Expel. That's almost the size of 2.5 football fields. So that's pretty incredible. Detail was led by Todd Gruber, Admir Dedick, Armando Berber, Zach Pollock, and Tony Cervetti. The detail team cleaned and detailed over 14,000 vehicles. Doug Hazen did 96 ceramic coatings last year. Guest Service Center answered 70,000 outbound phone calls and made over inbound calls and 42,000 outbound calls. So call center is booking it. Jamie Fike made almost 8,000 outbound calls herself, and that's over 30 calls a day. So pretty impressive. From a CSI standpoint, Cadillac, Infiniti, Mini, Chevy, Collision all exceeded budget for last year. Isaac McGuffin with a near perfect 992 score, so he's got some secrets to tell all of us, so we'll use that. Adam Nelson, Randall Montgomery all finished the year with CSI greater than national average. Infinity Store finished 2024 with a budget Google rating, the highest Google rating, in the Midwest of car dealerships. We had some movement in the fixed operations last year. Niall West from drive attendant to Nissan Express to Infinity Advisor. Romick came from Collision to Lexus Service Manager. Andrew Burkhart retired from Turning Wrenches and now is our Hickman dispatcher, which he's doing a phenomenal job. Jeremy Turner, Ryan Hardesty, Corey Dean, and Matt Brown, all with promotions. John Kendrick from Nissan Express over to our Hickman side. Emra and Joe went from Nissan Express to being shop advisor. Tracy and Jesse in our guest care center. JJ and Jamie to the lead guest service associates. And then we added Rebecca over at Hickman for our warranty administrator, which she's doing awesome. Overall, a lot of new faces in the service department. We're excited for this year. And then I know everybody's excited for AutoPoint coming back this year, so we are going to implement that here soon. So here's a few people clapping. And then obviously ongoing guest care is important to us moving forward, and I made it through it. Thank you. That's all I
Morning, everybody. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Sean Aiden. I'm in the finance department, and so first time up here, be nice, be gentle. We'll go through some variable achievements through last year. So last year in the sales department, new vehicles, we sold 3,100 new vehicles last year. We sold 4,460 used vehicles, so about 7,500 vehicles last year that we sold across all of our campuses. That's a phenomenal job. That's moving a lot of metal. That's a lot of internal parts that need to be clicking to make all of that happen. So a couple breakdowns of some of the teams that support our sales staff. The internet team made 36,469 outbound calls. Think about that. 36,000 calls on a team of 6? Sure. They set 6,000 appointments for the sales staff last year. And last year, they attributed to 3,200 of those 7,500 sales. So a really big important piece. So internet team, thank you very much for everything you did last year. Guest care, huge priority for all of us in all of our departments. Last year, 5 of our new car brands exceeded national average for CSI. Cadillac, Chevy, Infiniti, Mini, and Nissan. So those sales teams, excellent job working with your guests and taking care of them. Finance department, Big thank you to the Nissan and Chevy team. They're doing a great job of helping our guests into VSCs. You know, those are vehicle service contracts. That's very good, very healthy for us. Our guests feel comfortable with that. Helps out our service department and makes our guests feel well if something were to come up. Tony Murillo, if you see him, you know who he is. If you don't know who he is, find out who he is. Tony last year, he had the highest gross in a single month in our company's history. So if you see him, give him a good pat on the back, not too hard because it probably hurts.
Just back.
Austin Quinn, been a great addition out at Granger. He's really helped solidify that team in his knowledge and training, helping out with pre-owned and reconditioning out there. Billy completed the most deals in a single year for us. So throughout the course of the year, Billy consistently was helping out our guests completing paperwork the most. The additions and moves within our finance team over the past year made it stronger than ever. This strength enables us to better serve our guests, support our internal teams like you guys, and train our new staff, sales staff effectively. So big year ahead of us in the finance department as well. A couple other department shout outs. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, as I mentioned before, that help to make all this happen. You know, our lot attendants from checking in these vehicles, getting them to the right areas. Our accessories team from working with our guests, and a lot of follow-up between the guests and our service department to get those things installed. Really appreciate our titling and accounting team. They really help clean up a mess that we make, and so we really appreciate them up there. Thank you, Cassie. The buying center, you know, other teams out there, the buying center sourcing cars, the reconditioning team, you know, the rest of you guys in the service teams as well. It really takes all of you and everybody together to help get to a point where we can sell and deliver 7,500 cars. So, you know, from the variable team, just a very, very much thank you for everything that you guys are doing, and just look forward to a big 2025. Thank you.
John and I are gonna tag team this one because we're matching today. Thank you. So we want to talk a little bit about professional development. As John and I were up here earlier, we were like, well, it's really not professional development. It's really more employee engagement more than anything. And so you saw it on our VTO, the emphasis and the focus that we're putting on employees that we want to make sure everybody knows about. And so there are some things that we've had in place for quite a while. There are some new things that we are putting into place. But we just want to make sure that there's transparency in what we're doing to try to make Willis a good place, a great place for you to come in and work. So I will let you take the first few, and then I'll do the HR one.
Sounds good. So, you know, one, it kind of really starts with our hiring process, which Liz will get into this, but we do and believe in group interviews. So when individuals are going through the hiring process, we have typically panel interviews to get understanding of whether or not an individual is going to fit into a team well here at Willis. Once they are onboarded, we held 12 new hire orientations this year. So what we're trying to do there is kind of the old history of when an employee was hired here at Willis, they oftentimes had an opportunity to sit down with Rich Willis. And that's difficult when you have as many people as we have now, but we have transitioned that into the new hire orientation. Every single ELT who is really in Des Moines is always attending those meetings, and we go through the history, culture, traction. We do some kind of icebreakers to make sure to get people comfortable with meeting individuals who may not be in their department. In this overall introduction to the ELT, talk about professional development. Switching now into traction, you keep on hearing that word. We want to make sure that employees are having at least a monthly one-on-one and then at least a quarterly traction meeting. We continue to double down to make sure our managers are doing that effectively. Obviously, the annual review process. You going to take that one? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. And then employee council. That's a group that's made up of your peers. We will highlight them here in a second. but Matt Sokolowski and I meet with them, usually monthly, and, you know, it's an opportunity to get feedback. Dave and I had a lot of good conversations there, and examples like picnic tables, location of the winter outing, lunches at all employee meetings, lots of different things that we, you know, water fountains as we transition. You know, these are kind of simple things, but can kind of be big things too. I mean, people like to stay hydrated, and when you go past a water fountain that you can't fill up your cup at, that's an irritant, and the employee council is an opportunity to say, hey, there's an irritant out here, is there an easy fix? And when there's an easy fix, we try to jump on it really, really quick. Moving on to you.
Yeah. The only thing I'll add about the one-on-ones is, I'm gonna make that microphone squeak, I know I am. The only thing that I wanted to add about that is, when you saw in the VTO, one of our areas of focus this year is to have all of our managers go through, what is that?
I think Jeremiah is on, excuse me.
Okay. Okay. Is that we have our managers going through one-on-one training. So if you have been here for a few years, you probably know Jim Usgard. He is doing that one-on-one managerial training. The relationship that you have, that all of you have with your managers and that your managers have with you are what's going to be really the foundation of professional development and employee engagement. So it's important to have a really positive one-on-one. Then from an HR standpoint, I mean, I didn't know all this HR, but specifically, you know, John mentioned the interviews when somebody applies, but we also are doing another kind of series of interviews. And those start with new employees after their first day. Once they've gotten their feet underneath them a little bit, we do a 60-day interview just to see, you know, how things are going. And did you have all the things that you needed when you started your job? And, you know, was your email set up? And was your phone set up? And was your desk set up? That kind of stuff. Just so that we can make sure that we have the best process that we can for welcoming our teammates. And then we do exit interviews, right? So if you put in your notice, you'll be notified by Callie to come in and give us some feedback on what we can do as an organization to improve, and maybe kind of figure out if the reason you left was something that we can control. But what I started this year is stay interviews. So, right, we do a beginning and we do an end of your employee life cycle with us, but what we weren't doing is something in the middle to try to make sure that we didn't lose you in the first place. So you may get an email from me or a phone call saying that I want to meet with you for 5 minutes. And it is really just to find out what is going well and what we can do to change. Much like the employee council, sometimes it's little things. The other piece that we do that happens annually is our annual review process. You sit down with your managers, they talk to you about how you're meeting core values, and they give you something to work on for the next year and something that you're doing really well in. It is hopefully redundant if you're having fabulous one-on-ones with your managers, but it is an opportunity for you and your manager to sit down and discuss how you are performing. And I think that did we talk about professional development?
We hit
talked
a little
about
bit.
it a lot.
I mean, the annual review
Yeah.
is that question.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a question in the annual review that says, you know, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? I had one person, I used to go through those all the time. I had one person say, I really want to learn Spanish in the next year. So I thought that was a nice thing. That's it on that, Sam.
W-2s.
Okay, W-2s. John, you can stay up here with me for that. It's an accounting thing too,
Yep.
payroll thing.
There you go.
W-2s are already out on ADP. So if you log in and follow the kind of instructions on the screen here, you'll be able to download and save a copy of your W-2 electronically. So if you are somebody who wants those right away and to do your taxes quickly, that is available for you now. You will also receive a paper copy of your W-2. Lori, have we gotten those yet? Oh, we did, okay.
They're not ready to go out.
Right. So we do have paper copies of the W-2 if you do need them. You can always print the one electronically if you so desire, but we do have one for you. In addition to that W-2, you'll also receive a total rewards letter, which will come out, and then for all of you curious, your vacation rates will be in that packet of information. So if you are an employee who has a different vacation rate, you'll be notified of that. We've had a lot of questions. I called Jamie this morning. We've had a lot of questions about when that's coming out and when to expect it. She is working on calculating all of those for everyone. There are a lot of people to do. And so as soon as she gets those calculated, she will put them in ADP. Her goal is by the end of the month, right? Yeah. So the end of the month. If you did take PTO in the month of January and you don't believe that your new rate took effect yet, her plan is to go back and pay the difference if there is an increase from last year to this year. You can add whatever. Do you want the microphone?
No, I got a big voice. Everybody hear me? Yeah. So the vacation rate will be calculated at the end of the month. We will have that done before we process the second payroll. So we will automatically go back and pay anybody the difference for the first payroll of January. So hopefully you don't have to reach out to accounting at all, because the last paycheck of January, you will see the total amount that you should have gotten.
Because all of you are looking at your pay statements every time they come out, right? If you do have any questions about your rate or W-2, total rewards letter when that comes out, just let anybody in HR know, or Lori or Jamie or Chris.
You'll be receiving that packet from your manager.
Yes. Good input.
Jason?
Okay, the winter outing is in 2 weeks from tomorrow. And if you are planning to attend, I would love to see all of you there, first of all. I always have a fabulous time, and I hope that those of you that are coming and have come agree with my statement on that. It is February 1st, so it is not the last day of the month, like I have gotten that feedback too. But it is at the Airport Holiday Inn. It is on the south side. I think I made that mention the last all-employee meeting, but if you're planning on coming, let Callie know in HR. Her email address is on the invitation. You can chat her, you can shoot her an email, but we need to know by Thursday, because Friday I have to let the caterers know how many meals to make.
Jason?
What else do I need on that? I think that's it. There will be prizes. We're doing a raffle. There will be a recognition of our teammates who had milestone anniversaries in 2024. And then they will also do the drawing of the Employee of the Year. Thank you, David. Somebody nominate him for can-do attitude on that core value.
He's going to speak.
Oh, yeah.
You are up.
Thank you. So if you
That's
don't
what
know
your
who I am,
preemptive clap was to talk
I
about.
am Dave Allison, and I'm on the Employee Council. So if you don't know what that is, like John kind of talked about, it really feeds into the employee engagement, where we meet twice a month. We take feedback from everyone out here, and we kind of come up with a plan to resolve some of those, like you said, irritants, and maybe things we can change around the campuses to make it a better environment around here. So if you are interested in joining as well, we're looking for new people. So you can either shoot us the email at employeecouncil@willisauto.com or shoot one of us a message. So we're all right there. And let's see. Oh, there's compensation with that as well. So if you want to join, there's a little something in it for you. So we do have our food drive coming up February 10th through the 14th. So we did this last year, the Heart for the Hungry food drive. So that'll be going on February 10th to the 14th. We'll be collecting non-perishable food items and money, and then we'll be donating that to the local food banks as well. That went really well last year. We were able to present them with a big check, and it was really cool. Another thing we kind of do to engage into the community as well. But besides that, I think that's really it. If you have any questions or anything, you can shoot us an email or shoot any of us a message. So yeah, that's it.
Before you go, I do want to point out David's
jersey/uniform. So one of the really neat things that Mini has, Mini has a race team, a very, very competitive race team. And they have a partnership with dealers where technicians, when they hit a certain level, can have an opportunity to be part of a pit crew at a race. And so David got to be on the pit team at Indianapolis 500, is that correct?
Not the 500,
But the
yeah,
track,
Indianapolis,
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Indianapolis track,
That's
and
great.
was on the pit crew, and the team won the race, or was it they podium finish, right?
We podiumed and then we won the championship. We won the championship for the TC class, or the TCA class. We won the championship, and so we got to celebrate with them. That was awesome.
So, very cool, great experience representing Mini of Des Moines. Thank you, David, for all that you do with that. All right, a lot of things going on around Willis Automotive and the automotive industry. The biggest thing is the announcement of Randy Kirchhoff, a longtime general manager at the Nissan store. He has moved on to, he actually moved to Wisconsin, which opened a huge hole in our management team over at the Nissan store. So with that, we did interviews, and Chris Ruggery, our new car Lexus sales manager, has accepted the job as the new GM of Nissan, which is a huge win for the Nissan brand, but certainly creates a big hole on Team Lexus. As you may have already heard, Lexus had a huge year last year. They set a record for the all-time number of units sold in Willis Lexus history. And so we are open for interviews for that Lexus sales manager position now. Those interviews will take place somewhere over the next 2 weeks. We hope to get that person in and up and going as soon as possible. So Chris will stay in that sales manager role most likely through the month of February, with a tentative start date full-time over at the GM position around March 1. But if anyone is interested in that position for the Lexus sales manager, again, we'll start those interview process here relatively soon. Around the automotive industry, a lot of changes going on. First of all, I want to thank you all on a fabulous 2024. We finished very strong. The holiday bows, I still can't believe people really do that. Those holiday bows were nowhere to be found. They were all over the city of Des Moines as people were getting gifts at the end of the year. Everybody involved with the sales process, the car getting ready process, the paperwork process. Thank you for all you did to finish the year super, super strong. Really do appreciate it. With that, we going into 2025. 2025, I really believe, is shaping up to be a very strong year. We are budgeting for an increase in sales, increase in service. Economic forecasts are that the Midwest market continues to be very strong. A lot of investment continues to come into the Des Moines area, which means a lot more new homes, new people, more people needing their cars to purchase and also to be serviced. We had a couple interest rate drops. I believe they're expecting another 2 or 3 throughout the calendar year, and each time that price drops, cars become a little bit more affordable. So again, all good news on the horizon there. A lot of change to come to our industry starting Monday. As you all know, Monday is the day the new administration moves into the White House, and a lot of the early rumblings going on is we may see an effect of that immediately. One of the biggest things that they want to do is set a level playing field in drivetrains. They no longer want to have a tax credit for electric cars where you don't have a tax credit for gas engines. So we don't know for sure, but a lot of the rumors are the tax credits will go away on EV vehicles here relatively soon. That could have a big impact on our EV cars, EV sales, and EV leases. So be on the lookout. There'll certainly be a lot of communication going on. You'll hear a lot in the industry from that. You also hear a lot of conversation about tariffs. A lot of tariff threat with the automotive industry. China in particular has many manufacturers that are building cars at a price that nobody in the Western Hemisphere can compete with. A lot of that has to do with how they gather their technology. And a lot of it has to do with labor laws that they may not have compared to the Western world. So they're able to build cars, build parts at a very, very, very inexpensive price. And they're trying to get those car brands in through Mexico. And so you're already hearing a lot of grumblings of a lot of tariffs on the automotive business. So again, keep an eye on what goes on these first 30 or 60 days of the new administration. Our industry in particular will be very much in the spotlight. Another big change you're going to hear, you've heard a lot about, is Nissan. Nissan being sold, Nissan pairing with Honda. What in the world is going on? So with all these changes in the automotive business, there's a lot of investment needed. If you're GM, you're whatever, it takes about 7 to 8 years to build a brand new car. And to build a single car, a Kicks, a Armada, a Mini Cooper, from zero to selling that first car is over $1 billion investment just to make a car. And so you think 7, 8 years ago, you think this world was only going electric cars. The way the electric car market was going, all the talk of electric, Tesla was coming in, all these brands were promising all electric by 2030. All these brands invested in it, and now all of a sudden the cars are here, and everyone's like, well, maybe we're not going all electric. Maybe we're going to be 12% of our market electric, maybe 15%, but not all of it. Well, what do you do now? You've invested billions and billions of dollars in this electric technology that you gotta sell somehow. So you've got that going on. So huge price expense going on. A lot of government regulations that are going on. So anyway, these manufacturers are trying to figure out how are they going to best survive competitively going into the future. So that's why you're hearing Honda and Nissan saying, you know what? We could do this alone, but how strong could we be if we went in this together? If you think of Honda, they don't have trucks. They don't have pickup trucks. They don't have a big third-row SUV. Well, that's one thing Nissan has. Nissan has a Frontier. They have an Armada. They can share that technology with Honda and allow Honda to get into a marketplace that maybe they're not in today. Honda, however, has great fuel-efficient drivetrains, really good hybrid technology, great electric technology. They can share it that way. So you're not going to see Nissan go away, and we're certainly not going to be selling Hondas at our Nissan store. But you are going to start seeing shared technologies, shared investment in that. So that holding company where those two brands are will start to form. You'll hear about that more and more this year. And in 2026, there'll be a new company formed of that alliance between those two brands. It's confusing, but again, this automotive world is changing very, very fast. As far as here, we have a lot of new cars going on around this dealership. If you get a chance, you've got to see them. These are some cars that are totally different than we've seen before. The new Cadillac IQ, the electric Escalade, if you haven't had a chance to see it, you've got to get over. I know I've talked about it, but that dash, the screen, goes from door to door. It goes all the way across the interior. The technology in the car is absolutely unbelievable. The range on this electric car is over 400 miles, I believe, 460 on a charge. The thing is huge. If I stand next to the car, I can't see, if I get on my toes, I still can't see in through the window because it sits so tall. So please go over, see that car, the new Escalade, and then the Vistic, is that the new electric? Optic is the new third row electric Cadillac, smaller SUV. Over at Nissan, that Nissan brand has changed completely. We have an all-new Armada, all-new Kicks, and you've got to see the new Murano. The new Murano can compete with some of our luxury cars as far as fit and finish, technology that comes. There's a lot of excitement coming in that Nissan brand. And then over at Volvo, we have EX30 and EX90, correct? And the technology in that car, not only from an electric standpoint, but also the safety and the radar. If you look at the car, there's a bubble on top, and you gotta go over and see the car, what this thing can do from a safety standpoint. So we've got a lot of things to be excited for. Thank you for all that you do. And with that, what's next? We go over to call out.
Questions and core values.
I'll hand over to John.
This is always one of our favorite times in our all-employee meeting, where we go through and ask for core value shout-outs. We will go through each core value. If you've got a person that you think exemplifies our core values under that specific core value, please shout out their name and maybe give a little reason as to why. So, you know, we take this seriously. We like to go around and thank these people and just overall, you know, just celebrate these core values that we hold near and dear to our hearts. But we demonstrate a can-do attitude.
Alex King on our technology team.
Alex King.
He has to learn to say no. He won't say no. You ask him to do something, he does it, he doesn't practice.
That's a can-do attitude, and these cars are complicated, and our guests have a lot of questions, and it's just can-do. Yes, we will find out the answer.
I have 5.
Oh,
I need
wow.
to share, so let Bella go first.
Okay. Nate Shoesmith on technology too. A few weeks ago there was a rover that needed to be delivered. He doesn't usually do those. And he did a little bit. He delivered, or he did not do it. Let's start over. There was nobody on the schedule that did rover that day, and when he saw that, he took initiative and learned how to do it, and by that evening he helped with that delivery.
Nate Shoesmith.
I have 5. I have 5. And I'm going to call out Matt Brown, Aaron Eisenberg, Chris Pulaski, Matt Grossman, and Carson Tingwall because several times in the last few months I've come out to the shop and said, hey, we've got these students we need to give a tour to. Can you speak to them for a few minutes? And they are always like, yeah, of course we'll do it. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your attitudes.
Awesome.
Carly Porter.
Carly.
Carly on the drive, she just steps up. Whatever's going on, she just jumps right in, takes care of it. Given her some large projects lately, and she
Knocks him out of
just
the park.
gets it done, and it's great.
Always with a smile as well.
Lisa Howard.
Lisa Howard.
She does student deposits every single day, matches up things. Things aren't posted correctly, she's tracking them down, getting them moved, figuring out exactly where everything goes.
I like honesty and integrity with Lisa Howard as well, because she's dealing with all of our cash. So I very much appreciate Lisa Howard.
Kelly Parachi.
Callie Parachi, and it's very good to see her face today. For those who don't know, she works remote in Iowa City area, and but it's nice to have her here. Jamie Wieben, yes, our payroll person. Everybody likes Jamie. Very, very confident in the fact that our pay is coming to us on the 15th and the end of the month. Should we move on to we exhibit professionalism? Keegan? Yeah. Jared Fox, right here. Sorry, I heard somebody else. Todd Speck. Oh, always looking dapper. We operate with honesty and integrity. Paige Manigal, yep, doing our titling. Anybody else? And we are centered on faith, family, and community.
Samantha Plades.
Samantha,
Our
Sam.
Employee of the Month winner.
Dave Allison, definitely is definitely involved in our community of Willis, for sure. Anyone else? And we are energetic, enthusiastic, and competitive.
Yep. Matt Anderson,
Matt Anderson.
over on the technology team.
Yeah.
It's fun. He's only been with me for a few months, but he's so competitive. He's wanting to beat everybody for deliveries, hops on all the stuff. He falls under the can-do attitude as well, but he is very competitive.
That's awesome. Great to hear.
Bobby Simon.
Bobby Simon, he's definitely a competitive guy.
He's always this high off the roof.
It must be the shoes, right?
It's gotta be the shoe.
It's got to be the shoes.
Stephen Shea.
Stephen Shea. He's throwing up some good numbers. He's got more deals out of that Infinity building. You know, him and Tony, but yeah, Stephen has got his running shoes on as well to get deals done. And Bill Beck, Sorry, I was about to start.
We're about to do it.
You know, Bill Back kind of sits in the back and he's working on all the, fingers on all the websites, making sure our guests find what they need before they come in our doors. Definitely. And we are evolving and never satisfied.
Charles Parker.
Charles Parkler. Yeah.
Finding that to do.
That and finding cars sometimes too, I'm sure.
Matt Lawler.
Matt Lauer. Mike Lauer. Yep. Yep.
Sorry, Mike. Because he's got a background in IT as well as being a chef, so accounting gets lots of good food from some. But the important piece of all of that is really his IT background, because he's always taken a process and trying to figure out if there's a better way to do it within the system.
And the evolving aspect, he's going to school at night to get his accounting degree. Anybody else?
Sarah Waltz.
Sarah Waltz?
She's done AP, AR, she's cross training on cash balancing, and does the vast majority of all our training.
We've got a lot of professional development or evolving and never satisfied. That's one of the reasons why we continue to, support that movement of employees from one position to another. And it's why we highlight it in our new hire orientation, is just the effect of employees learning our culture and getting that kind of whole base underneath them before they transition to that new job. That way that they can come in having known where people are at, where to get answers to the questions that they have. And so they're just learning that skill of that new job and not the culture of Willis.
Sean McFarland.
Sean McFarland, he's got the can-do attitude right now, and the fact that he's kind of doing two positions.
All right, I got one more. My dear friend, who some of you don't know, and many of you have never talked to, decided that he was going to retire after 24 years of working for Willis.
Bobby,
That's Bobby. So shake your hands for Bobby.
any questions? You got Jason Willis here.
Randy's next meeting.
Uh,
I'll get it next meeting.
Two.
June. So we'll get April and so we'll be ready.
Questions?
Any questions at all about things around the dealership, personnel, brands, anything at all? Yes, sir.
I've seen a lot of news about Jaguar lately.
Yes.
I told
Yes.
you to mention Jack.
I should have mentioned Jag. So, we about 2-3 years ago, Jay approached us and said they're changing direction. Again, this all goes to this electric story. Jag Land Rover is one brand, really, they operate as one. And Land Rover has the SUV business, and Jag is the sedan business. The sedan business in general is not very strong. Most people are buying SUVs. So over the years, Land Rover has grown and grown and grown and grown, and Jag, unfortunately, was selling less and less and less and less. And so Jag was at a point where they had to decide, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna just stop making Jags altogether, or do we do something drastic? And they decided to go the drastic route. And so what Jag has decided to do, essentially, the brand itself will die or has been killed off. Jag will go away. That Jag that we know, the look, the Leaper, all the look of Jag is gone. They have a couple cars that they're still building, but really the ICE engine Jaguar business is gone. In about 2 years, I think, they will have a new brand out. The new brand is called Jaguar. But that brand looks nothing like Jaguar is today. It will be electric only. Starting price will be somewhere in the 150-ish price range and up. And the Des Moines market, it'll start with one car. Over 5 years, they'll end up having 3 different models. And they said the Des Moines market will get 3 to 5 cars a year. That's it. but we have to buy all the special tools, we have to build a special showroom, we have to buy all the, and it just financially, it just didn't make any sense. The brand is really the way they're taking the brand isn't a Midwest brand. Really where they want that brand to be is where you're gonna find Maserati dealerships or Lamborghini dealerships. Really in what they call the smile of the US, down the coast through Texas in those southern states. So they really asked us, we're Des Moines considered a smaller city, a smaller point. They asked many of us to turn that brand in and move on. So we have done that. There has been some marketing of what the new Jag brand will be and has received a lot of attention on what the new look is. So a lot of change, but we are no longer a Jag dealer. Now, we will service and have warranty rights to the Jaguar brand for the next 5 years. So anyone that bought a car from us under warranty, they can still bring it to us. We can still service it just like we always did.
Good question.
Great question. Anything else on your minds?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The last meeting, you talked about the electrics and the quotas that you had to get for electrics to get combustion engines back in. Do you anticipate that changing going forward now?
So his question, if you remember from a couple meetings ago, or one of the last meetings, we talked about General Motors, for example, that they have to sell so many electric cars to be able to sell ICE engines. And really, their big money makers are the Escalades, the Silverados, the Tahoes. They have to sell essentially one-to-one. And so this new administration has come in and said, we're going to change that. However, the EPA laws are really in effect through 2027. So this new administration can't do anything until post-2027. And we don't know what comes 2027. So right now, business will continue to go as normal. You will still continue to see electric cars coming, especially from our GM lines. You're seeing a lot of electric cars coming so they can continue selling their ICE engines. Somewhere after 2027, something will change, but no one knows what that is. Great question. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Are you looking for a replacement for Jaguar?
Yes, we're definitely still in growth mode. And now we say replacement for Jag. I'm not sure if and when a new brand comes along in that building would be the place it would go. But we absolutely are in talks, have been in talks with manufacturers about opportunities. And when the right one comes, we will definitely bring it to market. So a lot of opportunities out there, but again, our core values are so important. We want to make sure either a company, the culture, or the brand matches this dealership and the reputation we have in the Des Moines market. Oh, I guarantee you, 5 years from now, we will not look the way we look today. We will continue to grow and expand.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Please make sure to get this thrown away.